Something we've been texting about the last couple of days, and you have I think you have an interesting perspective on it. Is last week we saw Simona Halep in court again, trying to appeal a suspension. John Wertheim in the last segment went through the timeline of positive tests, uh, coaching changes, team changes, kind of this vortex that has gone on around Simona for the last 18 months. Some people are like, well, it is what it is. You take what you take, and then some people require or want a little more nuance with the situation. She's now suing the supplement maker, and it's just been a mess for someone who was generally really liked and respected in the
Right.
sport for a long time. I'm gonna do the thing that annoys me when I'm on the other side of it and ask a very vague question. But what's your take on the situation? And are you upset about it, concerned about it? Are you mad that people don't have the patience to actually deal with it in nuance?
Uh,
What's
all
your
the
take on it?
above. All the above. I think obviously I was very surprised when you hear the news, and you know I don't know Simona very well, but I know her well enough, I think, to kind of have a little bit of a judgment that it's something that I do believe that she didn't take anything on purpose to, um, you know, put her career in a situation like it is today. Um,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I do,
and sorry to interrupt, but it is like she would be, and it's going to be, that's another whole conversation. She would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, number
right,
one, like instant vote, no problem.
right,
And you're basically asking the question, would I put that at risk,
right,
at 30 years old?
right,
Yeah,
right.
which
And I
is,
think to me, the biggest red flag is, the team. Like I have a hard time, and I get it. Like I get that she took the supplements, and she has to be aware. Like we've been in the situation where you get sick, or you have to check everything. Like I've had to, anything that I had to, or that a doctor prescribed, I had just checked with with the WTA, with the doping committee. Like, is this clean? Can I get an approval? If you don't do that, there's always a risk that something could go wrong. But in a situation like this, and I'm so, like, for women especially, when you have coaches that take over your team, where I call it manipulating. I don't find another word for it. Taking control of everything that happens around an athlete. I do have a hard time with the fact that, in this case it's Patrick. He does a video, says, okay, this was, I think it was collagen or something, a collagen product that we had, or his team had proposed for her to take, and that she takes it without any hesitation, where you trust your team, where you trust the people around you, that they know that they're doing the right thing. And then that happens on such a, I have a really hard time that, that there is no consequence for the team, for, like, that it's just the athlete. Yeah, when you
yeah,
trust your team.
he's kind of, and we're talking about Patrick Roddick, where she basically flipped her whole team, and he was kind of in control, brought in his people. But it stinks because she's going to end up being potentially the poster child of a conversation. It's like, okay, well, this guy who comes in is great at self promotion, right? His website. I went on it the other day, and it's like 18 different photo shoots. It's like a prepackaged, situation. I say is like it's like
When
Puff
are you
Daddy
doing
jump.
yours? When are
Yeah,
you
no,
doing your
no, it's like Puff Daddy who he used to like jump into every music
I
video in
know,
the
yeah.
'90s. Now
Yeah.
that's like him in player boxes. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because I kind of feel the same way. I'm not sure what the punishment is, and I understand the way that the rules are written. We are all responsible, but it also bothers me that one, there wasn't an immediate I'm out front, not just a video, but I'll take your questions. I like if I would have done that, if I would have been a part of giving someone something and them trusting me with it, I would have been out there trying to take as many bullets as possible
Yeah.
for that person, right? Like saying, I did this, I gave it to her, it's my fault. I understand she's the only one that can pay the price because it's in her body and it potentially benefited her. Yeah, but it is a weird thing, and I don't know how to digest it. Kind of the male female of it all, but it just seems like it's a tough situation when she's going to court on the same day that he's releasing top 5 lists on Twitter for servers.
I agree, like, I agree. It sits so wrong with me, and I'm trying to put myself in the situation of, you know, understanding, like, yeah. And I'm curious just for the future of like the WTA, the like everything, like 'cause this can happen over and over again. We've seen it in the past where you have these coaches that come in and they take over the life of a player, and they want to be in control of everything and everybody that talks to the athlete. And it's yeah, it's definitely a huge red flag, and I feel really bad for Simona. But again, we don't know the whole truth, but I hope that she gets her time. And I guess she was able to defend her case last week or something, or and she's waiting for like the verdict to
Yeah, I
come
feel
out.
like
Or
I feel like we're in a long process of I don't know if there's new information coming out. So I feel like we're almost stuck in the loop of getting a more sympathetic ear to
right,
deliver the same information, which is rough. And you'd hate to see one of our greats this be it.
right,
And the general consensus, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, and I wrestle with this because like I have opinions where someone gets popped, and I can name, you know, fairly or unfairly. I remember Mariano Puerta made the final and played Rafa, and this guy became an animal, right? And then he popped, and I'm like, oh, that's not that surprising. Whereas when it happened with Simona, I don't know Simona, right? I don't we hi bye, a million of those tennis acquaintances that you see in a hallway, but you don't, haven't really spent time with someone. I was stunned, and similar to what
yeah,
what you were saying, and not dissimilar. It's now we have a couple of women with Maria and Simona, and how does the Hall of Fame take these cases? And is there nuance, and is there a conversation, or is it like other sports where it's just no? If you've had any sort of dalliance with performance enhancing drugs, publicly, is it just over? So I think it's weird. I think Simona is in the unfortunate position of she's going to kind of set precedent in a bunch of uncomfortable ways,
yeah.
while it seems like no one else involved in the decision making is actually paying the bill for it.
And that's yeah, you're absolutely right.
Um, that's a downer to finish
It
on because there
is.
was so much good stuff in this conversation.